Hey there. Do you ever say to yourself, I just want security, great pay, and no stress? Well, don't we all? Welcome to episode number 145 of the All Around Growth podcast, a show that gives you some insight and tools to build the life and homestead of your dreams. My name is Rob Kaiser and I am your host. Today is Wednesday, June 30th, 2021. And it is the last day of June, the last day of the second quarter of the year. The year, my friends, is halfway over. And when I began reading from 48 Days, The Rudder of the Day by Dan Miller, author of 48 Days to the Work You Love, I had to stop reading because I wanted to share this with you. So we're going to read this as we go down the driveway here, and then we will get into it, and this will be fodder for conversation on the morning commute. Can we really expect success to be guaranteed in advance of creating results? I had a young man come in as a client who wants to find a, quote, stable, secure, and enjoyable, close quote, career path. He received a degree in marketing 6 years ago, but has been frustrated in the jobs he has had. Employers seem to want clear results from his efforts, and he resists being pushed so hard. He clearly stated that he wants a job with security, no stress, and at least $45,000 a year that he will find enjoyable. Unfortunately, he has the process reversed. He is standing in front of the stove of life saying, "Give me heat, and then I'll put some wood in." Life does not respond to that message with anything but disappointment. Security, great pay, and no stress are the result of doing something you love and doing it with excellence. They are not something we can approach directly. They are byproducts of living out your values and vision. Looking for a job that pays well is addressing the circumstance and is likely to be a band-aid solution to your unrest. Clear purpose and meaning lead to greater self-esteem, confidence, boldness, enthusiasm, security, contentment, and ultimately, money. Lack of opportunity is often nothing more than a lack of purpose or direction. Quote, "The man who does not work for the love of work, but only for money, is not likely to make money nor to find much fun in life." Close quote. Charles M. Schwab. In the classic book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill defines the process he discovered for finding fulfilling work. One of the steps is offer to go work on probation. What a radical idea. To go work on a trial basis to see if your efforts are convincing. What a different approach to today's young job seeker who often looks for guaranteed pay, benefits, and security in advance. Mr. Hill says the difference in income, in advancement, and in gaining recognition will save years of hard work at small pay. It has many advantages, the main one being that it will often save from 1 to 5 years of time in reaching a chosen goal. Quote, "The biggest mistake you can make is to believe you work for someone else." Close quote. Unknown. In a day when job searches can stretch to 12 to 14 months, what are the chances someone would provide an opportunity based on guaranteed results? If someone approached you and said, "Let me work for free for 30 days, and then we'll determine what I'm worth," would you allow him or her to do so? Quote, "Opportunity dances with those who are already on the dance floor." Close quote. H. Jackson Brown, Jr. And finally, before we hit the road, got one last quote from the Bible. That's a quote from second chapter Timothy second book of Timothy, chapter 2, verse 15. Quote, "Work hard so God can say to you, 'Well done.' Be a good workman, one who does not need to be ashamed when God examines your work. Know what his word says and means." And finally, the question, or one of the questions we will examine as we hit the road, is what actions can you take today to move into an area of fulfillment, even if there is no guarantee in advance? Well, that's easy for me to answer, at least. What actions can I take today to move into an arena of fulfillment, even if there is no guarantee in advance? One is this podcast. I originally had no intention of recording this morning, but when I started reading the second paragraph where Dan Miller spoke about Napoleon Hill, it may have been the third paragraph, it doesn't matter, but that's a book that I began reading in the first part of the year with Dan and a group of people through the 48 Days Eagles community. And every month we've been participating in Zoom calls with one another and going about the reading of that book almost like a book club. Now, when the spring season hit, I was unfortunately unable to make these calls since they occur in the afternoon on a Monday, but luckily the opportunity is there to take some time off down the road, participate in the calls to wrap up the year, but the opportunity is also there to see the replays of the calls and obtain much of the benefit that I would have had I been there in the first place myself. And in addition to what Dan wrote about in Think and Grow Rich and how we find fulfilling work is to work on probation, it's worth noting that Charles Schwab was quoted here as well. And by no means am I a fanboy of Charles Schwab or a proponent of Charles Schwab or anything like that, but I am a proponent of this quote, and I think that this quote is fantastic. And this quote is a big driver behind putting out this episode today, because it was so profound. I had to stop reading, stop everything that I was doing, and accelerate the process of getting out the door so that I could read all of this with you and ultimately share this with you again in the way that I am about to. Quote, "The man who does not work for the love of work, but only for money, is not likely to make money, nor to find much fun in life." Now, when I get up here at the railroad tracks crossing, I will read this again. "The man who does not work for the love of work, but only for money, is not likely to make money, nor to find much fun in life." Charles M. Schwab. Working for the love of work. What a crazy idea. We don't do that anymore. And that's my dream. My dream is not to live a life where I can spend the majority of my time, my free time, planning for the vacation that I so desire to get me away from the life that I live. The life of my dreams consists of finding and creating work that I don't necessarily need to take a vacation from, but the vacation is something that I want to do. And I've found and created work that not only allows me to live the life that I want, but affords me to do the things that I want to do as well outside of the life that I want. So many of us live lives that we hate, buying things with money that we don't have, to impress people we don't even like, owning and improving homes that we really don't spend any more than half of our lives in anyways. And the majority of that time that we spend in our homes is sleeping. Quote, "The biggest mistake you can make is to believe you work for someone else." Close quote. And we don't know who wrote that. We don't know who said that. But let's unpack that a little bit. Because even if you do work for someone else, you are always working for yourself. And I talk a lot about the ideas of entrepreneurship and my dreams of working for myself, supporting myself on the land that I live, since I have the opportunity to utilize it, and it's being suggested that I do and encouraged that I do. But sometimes the entrepreneurial path is not for everyone. Sometimes the best thing that people can do is seek gainful employment by and from someone else, and there's no shame in that. And if that's where you're at, which is where I am at, I don't fault you for that. Sometimes it's the best place that we can be. But don't forget how easy it is to become complacent where we're at. I mean, of course, we all want security, great pay, and no stress. Who doesn't? You'd be an idiot to say that that's not what you want. Don't lie to yourself. We all want security, great pay, and no stress. But we can't have all three. Oftentimes we can have at least one, and oftentimes two. We may have security, we may have pretty good pay. But on the flip side, we deal with a lot of stress. Or if we don't have any stress in our work or our career, we've still got great pay, maybe there's little to no security because the workplace and the environment is so volatile. Or maybe if you've got that security and no stress, the pay sucks. Because any old rum-dum can likely do what you're doing. So, is it possible to have security, great pay, and no stress? Sure. Anything is possible. But it's likely more possible to have the best of everything, the optimal circumstances, when you pursue work for the love of work. Because like we saw and read with the quote from Charles Schwab, when we do that, we are likely to make money and find much fun in life. And my friends, this life is short. And if we're not enjoying it, that's a shame. So I think it's in all of our best interests to work for the love of work, to find work that we love, to create work that we love. It's our destiny. It's the only thing that we can do. And it's the way. Honestly, I believe that we'll find out and figure out what God's plan is for us in the long run, if that's something that we want to do. Anyways, that's it for today's show. I am here at the day job. If you like what you hear, I would encourage you to go to the show notes where you can follow links to rate and review the podcast if you're an Apple or iTunes user. And if you're not, just go ahead and give it a rating on your podcast player of choice. Ultimately, if you like what you hear, there's links to the rest of the 144 episodes as well. And if you have any questions or feedback, you can reach out to me or anybody else in the audience in the Telegram group, t.me/allaroundgrowth. Got a cool little community there, talking about the podcast, talking about everything else, and look forward to connecting with you there. And last but not least, if you like what you hear and you want to support the show, you can share it on social media. That's a great thing to do to just help get the word out there, and it would really be appreciated. So I hope that you have a great day. I sincerely thank you for your time and spending it with me here today. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.